Welcome to Profile, Red Apple 21's look at schools in Fairfax County. This month we visit Lynbrook Elementary School, where a diverse student body and a caring, committed staff combine to create an atmosphere of achievement. Join us as we visit classrooms where students strive to succeed, and teachers work together to provide every opportunity for students to reach their full potential. A trip to Lynbrook Elementary is next on Profile. Many of you may not know this, but there are leprechauns living in Springfield. Lynbrook Elementary School, located on Backlick Road, is home to the Lynbrook leprechauns. Built in 1954, Lynbrook houses approximately 400 students, with the diverse backgrounds and abilities that provides the school with its unique character. This diversity of students creates a need for a diversity of instructional methods.
At Lynbrook School, we're trying to expose students to as much different kinds of learning as possible. We want the children to get familiar with finding their own way. We want to get them involved in research projects, working with one another, in respecting their own talents and respecting their own differences. And of course, we're interested in boosting their achievement in math and language arts and science and social studies, and so they'll be successful when they graduate from high school. We're at the very beginning.
Before students can learn effectively, however, they must enjoy coming to school. At Lynbrook, the staff works hard to create a warm, caring environment where students feel comfortable so that learning can occur.
All of these 400-plus students belong to all of us, and every teacher takes responsibility for every student. This gets to be a little complicated at times, but we've really found it to be beneficial. The kids know they have a family to go to beyond their home, and the teachers really work to make that work. So yes, we want to bolster student achievement. That is the foremost, upmost, thing that we have in our minds. But primarily, we want the children to enjoy coming to school so that they will want to come to school. And our expectations are being raised every day, and hopefully in raising our own expectations of the students, we will raise their expectations of what they can do for themselves.
To assure that these high expectations are met and maintained, Lynbrook employs the concept of the Effective Schools model. The goal of the Effective Schools model is to bring about student achievement through collaborative planning. Principals, teachers, and parents in the individual schools join together to decide the educational goals of the school and the best way to implement these goals.
This faculty and staff is a very people-oriented group, and they also have some very sound educational principles under which they operate. And it was a natural to have a collaborative team get together to decide the direction for the school and to implement the goals related to the direction that they've chosen.
The blueprint which guides the work at Lynbrook is the annual operating plan. The AOP, as it is called, used to be written by the principal alone. Now the job is done by a steering committee made up of teachers, parents, and the principal.
So far we've had 3 math incentive programs this year, and one of them is ongoing right now. The first one was a gathering of information that would estimate.
I always kind of think of if you not having a plan is like planning to fail. So you need to have a plan or a focus or a guideline so you know where you're going. And the annual operating plan is formulated so that teachers, are working together to know where the students are going to end up by the end of a year or 2 years or 3 years, because the document that's built is in fact living and can change.
The steering committee includes the chairs of various subcommittees at Lynbrook, such as the Language Arts Committee, Math Committee, and the Handicap Awareness ESL Committee. These people bring to the steering committee the special perspectives of the groups they represent.
And as Elaine mentioned, the International Night, they're working on that, and Young Authors Day, that's still in the planning stage. Hopefully the Language Arts Committee will plan that, and we can work with them on that. And that should be...
Because they meet on a monthly basis, the steering committee members keep up to date on what's happening throughout the school and can quickly respond to needs as they arise.
Those areas that the faculty and the total school feel that need to be worked on with the building, the students and the students' achievement. And sometimes that changes from year to year. It depends on what we feel as a faculty we need to work on and put our focus on.
This year, Lynbrook has an additional resource to use in its quest for continual growth, a Total Schools Approach grant. And it is the steering committee that implements programs made possible by the additional funds.
Also, I am still in the process of dealing with the family literacy program, which we might do some staff development on for our purposes. And I am planning to call the principal at Timberlane, Kaz Renzi. He has a family literacy program in progress. So we'll pull him for information and see if there's any staff development that he's used that we can pull together for us. And then we'll start moving on our use of staff development monies. And this will allow us the opportunity to explore some avenues through the Minority Achievement Office to raise our student achievement. And at this point, we're looking at a lot of things that connect the home and the school. We're looking at academic programs that can be carried from home to school and school to home to keep the parents involved in student education, because parents are the children's first teachers. We are looking at family literacy classes, and that will assist non-English speaking parents to learn English hopefully more quickly. And we are hoping that it will involve also a great deal of staff development for our teachers, enabling them to expand their instructional repertoires.
The collaborative spirit that is nurtured on a school-wide basis trickles down to the individual grade levels. Teachers have discovered many advantages of planning and working together. Students benefit from their exposure to various teaching styles, and the teachers benefit because increased interaction with one another fosters professional growth. In the second grade, for example, teachers are using this team approach to teach a social studies unit on the countries of Europe.
We have a 3-person team, and the 3 of us get together and plan our units as we go through. We work out the countries that we'll be studying and how we can contribute to each one. We also try to work together as a team so that we don't repeat. If one does vocabulary of a country, generally if the other country does vocabulary, it's in terms of math terms or something to that effect.
Thumbs up if you're ready to begin. Thumbs up. Oh, I see some good thumbs. I have a globe too, and I'm going to take my globe and I'm going to find where Mortimer the moose lives.
By using this approach, teachers are able to devote more time to specific topics. In addition, teachers can sometimes focus on areas of personal expertise.
We picked 6 countries as a group, and I picked 2 countries that I have a personal expertise on. I feel I can share a lot more. Unfortunately, when we pick our countries, we don't always have that personal expertise, and so then we become experts by studying at the library. And I feel that our children get more of an advantage that way because I can concentrate on 2 countries instead of concentrating on 6 and spreading myself out thin. This way, the children get the benefit of more information and more learning from the teacher.
This is good. Good. What comes after spy? Dry. What comes after dry? Fear.
Germany is just one of the European countries that the students are exploring now. Their classroom travels have also taken them through North and South America. Like any international traveler, the student must present their passport to a customs agent before they enter a new country.
The passport is just to get the idea or give the children an idea of how you really travel from country to country. She stamped the children's passports that we've been using all year long, and she stamped them for the country or the area that we were studying today, which was Scandinavia. She stamped their passports, they came in, and then we first did more or less a global study where we took the globes that are used in the early years of education, and they located various countries, located some of the countries or the states or the areas that they have already studied or that they're familiar with. And so we started with a global study and went in from there to putting names and the written text with the countries that they were looking at.
Nor? Way. Does this nor remind you of something? Anything that's...
New York.
New York? What else? North? North? I heard some other comments too. Say it again, Darcy. Noisy Nora. Some of you know that story. Norway is the North Passage, or the way to the north. That's all it is. It's simply the path to the north.
The collaborative teaching method at Lynbrook is providing students and teachers with the opportunity to stretch and grow by allowing different learning styles to be exposed to various teaching styles.
Teachers for so long have been isolated from one another. They come into a classroom, they close the door, they do their thing, they open the door at the end of the day, and the kids go out. We feel that we all have not only different learning styles, but different teaching styles, and also different knowledge bases. And through our collaborative planning opportunities, we're giving the best we've got to those children and providing an opportunity for teachers to learn from one another. Not only are they lifelong teachers, but they're also lifelong learners, and this really gives an opportunity for everybody to benefit.
Providing opportunities for everyone to learn is a common goal at Lynbrook. Because 1/4 of the student body speaks a language other than English, ESL, or English as a Second Language classes, are offered. One part of the curriculum is the ESL transition class. Intended for students who are newly arrived in this country, this class teaches basic survival skills to children who may never have attended school before.
These are students who have come to us, some of them without any school experience at all. They may be 10 years old, but may not have had the opportunity to have experienced school in their home country. And so they come to Lynbrook for the first time, perhaps frustrated and flustered and without any basis of comparison for what school might have been like at home. And we want to make them feel comfortable. So one of our ESL teachers has established herself as the teacher of this ESL transition class, which is a short-term class that helps the student adjust to the school environment at Lynbrook. And they go over things that are necessary for survival, like where they live, what their names are, how to make change using American currency, how to handle oneself in the cafeteria and make the selections, what to do if you're lost, what to do in case there's emergencies at home, and how to help your parents make the adjustment.
In addition to teaching life skills, the class also concentrates on the basics.
Well, as you must guess, reading and writing is an important part of this process. So the teachers spend a great deal of time with language development, but as they're beginning in the transition class, we're not ignoring the math and science and social studies, and language development is part of all of those too. So yes, math is taught there and those other content area subjects. Usually the first subject that the children feel most comfortable in dealing with in a general education setting is math, and quickly followed by science, because those are computational and hands-on activities, and then pretty soon social studies follows along, and then, you know, the last to come perhaps is the reading and the language. And the very last of that is the writing, because the students are quickly fluent orally and less fluent at first in writing, but they develop that skill too very soon.
Although students spend most of their day in the ESL class, they return to their home rooms to participate in music, physical education, and art classes.
I have grades 2nd through 6, and the children go back to their classroom for special classes, art, music, gym. They're with me most of the time. Several of the children go back to their class for math, if they can do the math and keep up with the class. Then they get pulled out, go back for math, and then come back to me, depending on how their proficiency is working into the classroom.
A hill is a house for an ant. A hive is a house for a bee. A hole is a house for a mouse.
Yeah, the first thing we were working on was we were reading from a big book and talking about different types of homes that the animals were in. We've spent a lot of time on different animals in the class and naming them and telling about them and discussing whether they have skin or fur and bringing in a lot of vocabulary, enrichment vocabulary. You'll notice that the children, when they saw something in the pictures that they recognized, they really got excited and they felt more a part of the group, even if they didn't understand all the words that were being said.
In another activity, students were learning the names of various fruits and vegetables. In this culminating activity, students used a hands-on approach, tasting the food and then writing sentences about it. In addition, they learned more words to add to their vocabulary.
You don't eat the whole apple, you throw some of it away. And this takes the center, look here. This part here takes the core. The middle part takes it out. We're going to do two things for the apple. We're going to peel and we're going to core the apple.
As their proficiency in English increases, students will spend less time in the ESL class and more time in their regular classroom. Students who come to Lynbrook already knowing how to read and write naturally progress more quickly because a lot of their skills are transferred. For other students, the pace is slower, with more repetition and reinforcement. ESL teachers do not speak any foreign language in class. However, they are quite fluent in other types of communication.
I think a smile and patience. That's my second major language, is patience with the children. Draw pictures, act things out, do everything but stand on your head. And they're eager to learn, and it's a guessing game. They'll catch what's going on if you try to explain it in different ways.
The ESL transition class at Lynbrook is an effective way to assist students who are trying to make the transition to life in the United States. But the ESL students are not the only ones who benefit.
It's very enriching to the whole community and to the school to have this many cultures merged together and sharing backgrounds and sharing cultures. And once these children can speak even a little bit of English, they want to share what their house was like and what their grandparents were like and stories that they knew and foods. They'll bring in foods from their country that they like. And it enriches the whole community.
Involving the community in the school effort is part of the reason behind the success at Lynbrook. One way the community has become involved is by volunteering at the school. One group in the community that Lynbrook considers an untapped resource is senior citizens.
We've been trying very hard to involve our community in our school, and among the untapped resources are, of course, our senior citizens. And we have put up advertising in various stores and put information in the newsletters of community agencies and houses of worship to hope to interest our retired population. And as a result of this, we have gotten a few volunteers, one of whom is an extremely steady, lovely lady who comes every day. And she has no children in this school. She is friends with one first grader. And it is because of that child that she began coming to Lynbrook, but I'll bet you she would continue even if that child weren't here. And Iris works this year with the first grade, and she is extremely reliable and very loving and gives that extra one-to-one attention that makes the first grade experience very special.
Little Benjamin said that the first thing to be done was to get back Peter's clothes in order that they might be able to use the pocket handkerchief. They took
Volunteers lend an extra hand in the classroom, assisting teachers and enabling them to reach more students on an individual basis.
The advantages are that being that there is more than one of us to cover 20 children with their needs, and she is able to extend that services in helping us reach more children with 2 people instead of 1. Also, the advantages are being that Iris is to some children like a grandmother or a great aunt. Her wisdom is her extra added wisdom is very special in our class.
The senior volunteers provide a special touch to life at Lynbrook. The students enjoy their special relationships with the seniors.
A lot of our students here have left their extended families behind for one reason or another. They may not be not only not local, but not even be in the country. And I think having a senior citizen here does provide a little bit of a different kind of relationship than a parent volunteer who is a mom or a dad of a student. But no volunteer is ever turned away at Lynbrook, and retired citizen, mom, dad, or person who has just some extra time on hand, encouraged to come to any school.
Then Mama said Nat, but my sister said no Nat. But Mama always wins, and my sister took a nap.
That's very good. Very good, Trish.
There are many reasons to volunteer at a school. Not only is it a good way to get involved in the community, but there's the satisfaction of helping prepare children to successfully meet the challenges of life. The experience is rewarding, and volunteers find that the effort comes naturally.
First of all, they'd have to love children, and then they'd want to serve. They'd want to give of themselves, and they get back so much more, actually, than they give.
At Lynbrook, everyone is committed to helping all students achieve their full potential. In the 5th and 6th grade, the teachers have combined classes to form a middle school's model. These 6 teachers have designed their curriculum so that the students move from room to room and see 2 or 3 teachers each day.
We have them organized so that they see one teacher for math and science, another teacher for social studies and language arts. And these 2 teachers collaborate on their instruction so that there is an integration of subject area and a support for subject area in both classes. The children are assigned to a homeroom. They meet in the homeroom first thing in the morning, then they travel with their belongings to their first core period class, which is an hour and a half. And then after that, they travel to their second core period class, which is another hour and a half. Then they go off to have their lunch period, and their afternoon has their PE music, and social interaction things that they may do back in their homeroom periods.
By organizing the students' schedule in this way, Lynbrook has created a bridge between elementary school and high school. This lets the students slowly get accustomed to accepting more responsibilities while still in a protective, nurturing environment.
The program is established so that the children get a taste of what it's like to face 2-3 teachers in one given day, to work with a different setup of children, a different arrangement of children. In some classes they may have this, half the children may be the same, and then others feed into maybe their math and science class. It's just an opportunity for them to taste what it's like to be in a middle school. We found that the 6th graders particularly just love the whole idea of being able to change classes and see what other teachers are like. It's, for the 5th grade, it gives them an opportunity to learn how to organize, and that's been a real goal for us, is to teach the children to be organized and set their time limits and be able to be accountable to 2 or 3 different people instead of the one person.
Okay.
By working together to plan activities and then dividing up the tasks, teachers are able to add diversity to classes. Sometimes the teachers decide to carry a theme throughout the classes. One example is the Lynbrook Leprechaun Bank and Trust. The teachers wanted to incorporate real-life skills into math lessons while helping the students save money for a class trip.
One of the rather fun, unique things that our 5th and 6th grade team scheduled for this year was a trip to Camp Hemlock Overlook Park. And as part of that, in sitting down and discussing it, we decided as a team that a way of teaching them some real-life skills and weaving it in with this field trip would be to set up a mock bank up at the 5th and 6th grade level where the children could actually earn the money for the trip and bring it in slowly over a period of a couple of months. And as they brought the money in, they would learn to make deposits, learn to write checks, learn to balance a ledger, and all of the other things that would make them capable of banking in the real world.
Another component of the middle school's model is the teacher mentoring program. Students are able to take part in small group tutoring sessions when they feel they need extra help in certain areas.
Here. Okay. Let's change this. Okay? All right, now.
36 goes into 72 once.
All right, we tried once, but we ended up with a remainder that was what?
Oh, the same. Now
the same. So we have to do what?
2 of us are available to the students pretty much all morning long, and all the students are aware of it, and they are able to come to us. Either they verbally let us know, or they may tell us by a little note that they need help on a certain area, and they know we're there for them to kind of give them the support. Teachers are also able to recommend students. A lot of times during our meetings we decide a certain student or group of students need a little bit more help in a certain area or skill. Maybe a skill that the teacher wants to move on, and these 3 or 4 are not able to pick up, so they may need that individualized attention.
By providing individual attention and the opportunity to assume responsibilities, the middle school model at Lynbrook is enabling both students and teachers to grow. This has been just a taste of life at Lynbrook. Every day, students and teachers are working together to learn and grow. It is a friendly place where a caring atmosphere creates an environment in which students can thrive, where a committed community lends its support and its time, where a dedicated staff is guiding a diverse student body through their education, and it's a place where all people smile in the same language.